In 1950, Venezuela was richer than Spain, not per capita, not adjusted, richer. Caracas had highways before London rebuilt theirs after the war. Venezuelans vacationed in Miami, not the other way around. So when people say Venezuela failed, the real question isn't just political, it's about physics. How does a country fall that far, that fast, without a war? It all starts in 1958. After a dictator falls, Venezuela's political elites sign an agreement called the Punto Fijo Pact. It's a gentleman's agreement. No coups, share power, respect oil contracts, and keep Washington happy. For decades, it worked. But it was built on one silent, powerful assumption. Oil would always pay the bills. And by the 1970s, Venezuela wasn't just exporting oil. It was exporting stability. U.S. refineries were literally engineered to run on Venezuelan crude. This deep interdependence is key. In 1976, Venezuela nationalizes its oil industry, creating PDVSA. But unlike other state-run oil companies, PDVSA was technocratic, apolitical, and globally respected. Its executives trained in Houston, and its deals were written in English. Venezuela wasn't anti-U.S. It was deeply intertwined with it. Then, the first cracks appear. In the 1980s, an oil price crash leads to currency devaluation, IMF reforms, and finally, in 1989, the Caracazo. President Carlos Andrés Pérez imposes austerity, fuel prices spike, and riots explode across Caracas. Hundreds, maybe thousands, die. This is the first major warning. The system's legitimacy was crumbling long before Hugo Chávez ever appeared on the political stage. Chávez wins the presidency in 1998, not as a socialist icon, but as an anti-system outsider promising to break the old pact. He rewrites the Constitution, expands his own authority, and reasserts state control over oil. Then, in April 2002, a failed coup briefly removes him from power. When he returns, everything hardens. The political lines are drawn in concrete. After a massive oil strike in 2002, Chávez fires over 18,000 PDVSA employees. These weren't just protesters. They were the engineers, the geologists, the institutional memory of the entire industry. The damage isn't immediate, but it's a time bomb. Then, a stroke of luck, or so it seemed. From 2003 onwards, oil prices explode, soaring from around $25 a barrel to over $140. Money floods into Venezuela. This funds massive social programs in healthcare, food, and literacy. The UN even reports real gains in poverty reduction. But underneath this success, a fatal flaw is growing. Currency controls distort the economy, domestic production collapses, and the whole system becomes addicted to high oil prices. It only works under extreme pressure. At the same time, Venezuela repositions itself globally. It builds new alliances with Cuba and other Latin American nations, takes on oil for loan deals with China, buys military hardware from Russia, and publicly rejects U.S.-led trade deals. This changes Venezuela's profile from a partner to a strategic challenger. Then, in 2014, the floor drops out. Oil prices crash from over $100 to under $40. Revenue is cut in half. Imports collapse. The country is going broke. Normally, a nation in this position would restructure its debt. But in 2015, the U.S. issues an executive order declaring Venezuela an unusual and extraordinary threat. That specific language is a key that unlocks what comes next. From 2017 to 2019, a series of financial sanctions effectively cut Venezuela off from the global financial system. Its debt can't be restructured, its state oil companies sanctioned, and its overseas assets, like the CITGO refinery network, are frozen. By this point, 95% of its export revenue is constrained. Insurance costs for tankers skyrocket. This isn't a collapse caused by chaos. It's a collapse engineered by accounting. Venezuela still has oil in the ground, but oil without the ability to sell it is just geology, not wealth. But people adapt faster than states. A black market economy booms. The US dollar unofficially replaces the local currency, and migration becomes a survival strategy. Remittances sent from millions of Venezuelans abroad replace oil as the nation's primary lifeline. So what does this stress test reveal? It shows that depending on a single resource magnifies every shock. It shows that sanctions can accelerate fractures that already exist. And it proves that the competence of institutions often matters more than political ideology. The uncomfortable truth is that there is no single cause. If Venezuela failed because of socialism alone, why did it survive and even thrive for a decade? If sanctions alone caused the collapse, why was the system already so fragile? History doesn't give us simple answers. It just keeps accumulating pressure until something finally breaks. Thanks for watching.